Hello learners and viewers, welcome to NIOS Studio. This is live Vidya program for Environmental Science course of NIOS. This is senior secondary course. Learners, in our previous program we have discussed about origin of earth and evolution of life, environment. As we know that human beings, scientific name of humans is Homo sapiens sapiens, evolved more than 2 million years ago. So, they evolved with a large brain that enabled them to think and use their judgment, and human also walked erect on two legs, which made their hands free to negotiate manual functions. Previously, human beings like a beast or animal, wild animals. Primitive humans lived in a forest near water bodies and interact with the environment as hunters and gatherers. And as living with other animals, survival of human beings are also entirely dependent on their obtaining food from the environment. And but being human being as intelligent, so being intelligent human beings exploited environmental resources for many purposes other than just for procuring food. So the environment has played a vital role in shaping the human societies, but we humans too have affected the environment. Interactions between the human society and environment also constantly changing. In last few centuries, if we see, exploitation of environmental resources has dramatically increased. That leads to serious damage and degradation of the environment. So, I am Neelam Gupta, course coordinator of environmental science. Welcome to you all in this program. So, we will discuss about utilization, exploitation of natural resources, evolution of human and how they are being exploited. So, now what we will discuss? We will tell objectives of the program. So, natural resources obtained from the environment, evolution of humans and about primitive humans as a hunter and gatherers and tools which was used by primitive humans, and how the nomadic humans started living a settled life. And later we will discuss during this program also origin and evolution of agriculture, domestication of animal, importance of the invention of wheel and how industrialization began and what factors that lead the growth of environmental industrialization and how beginning of exploitation of natural resources started. So, first we will talk about what are the natural resources available in the environment. As we already said, primitive humans interacted with environment for their survival, and when human became more and more cultured, they devised means of using environmental resources for making their life comfortable and protecting themselves from the other various environmental stresses or dangers. So, environmental natural resources which are present in the nature are two types: abiotic resources and biotic resources. Abiotic resources include water, land, forest, sunlight, energy, and biotic resources involve plant, animals and microorganisms, and also humans is also natural resources in the form of biotic resources. So, these are the abiotic resources we have already discussed. So, first we will discuss land. So, we know that many organisms including humans live on land, and land forms just approximately 29% of the earth's surface, which includes mountains, rocks, desert, swamp, forest and grassland, and humans use land for growing crops that provide them with food. They also need land to build shelters, road and cattle sheds. The need for large land uses is steadily growing to cater to the need of the growing population, urbanization and industrialization. Other use of land is also used for making flyovers, subways and of course for erecting factories. And urbanization are also human projects which diminish natural land resources. Second resource is water. We know water is a very precious source, and our earth is surrounded by 2/3 of the water, but all water cannot be used. Natural water bodies that includes oceans, seas and water surface bodies like river, lake, waterfalls and ponds. So, about 80% of the earth's fresh water remains. I have already said 2/3 of the earth's surface is full of water, and this water we can use. The water which we use is only fresh water, that is 3%, approximately 3% of fresh water. So, almost 3%, almost 80% of 3% fresh water remains frozen at higher latitude on mountain tops, or only 20% is available in liquid form. Primary source of water on land is rainfall, and we know water is very essential requirement for all living beings. And human use water in many ways, like irrigation of agriculture crops, industries, building constructions, culture of fish, prawn, aquatic plants, and we also use water for drinking, bathing, cleaning, washing, gardening, pottery making and many other uses too. So, but water though a naturally replenishable resource, but overuse and wastage of water is leading to its scarcity. So, next natural resource is energy, and we all know prime source of energy is solar radiations, and primitive humans use firewood and cow dung and other animal waste for heating and cooking, and sometime oils were extracted from seeds and fish was used by them to light their caves and shelters, and another major source of energy in recent time is fossil fuel like coal, petroleum and natural gas. So, first we will talk about uses of coal. Coal is used for cooking, for running locomotives, furnaces in industries and generating electricity, and coal is also used for extraction of metals and minerals and in thermal power generation plant. Next resource, natural abiotic resources, petroleum and natural gas, and both are fossil fuel which found under the earth. Petroleum probably originated from marine animals that lived during past geological periods. Like coal was formed from vegetation. Coal is a form of primitive plants, and petroleum and natural gas are also obtained from deep inside the earth, and they are also known as non-renewable energy sources because they cannot be replenished in our lifetime. So, petroleum uses of when we talk about the uses of petroleum, petroleum product is used as for running automobiles, steamer, airplane and for making plastic and fertilizers, and refined petroleum products are petrol and diesel. Next, abiotic resources, minerals or metals. We know earth has its storehouse many minerals and metals, and how human get these metals and minerals. They dug up mines and removed massive amount of metals like aluminum, iron, copper, zinc, mercury, lead from their natural deposits. We dig out and make utensils, vehicles, airplanes and spacecraft using aluminum, and we also use aluminum to make utensils, part of vehicles, aircraft and spacecraft, and iron is alloys are used for making armaments. Metal ores are generally chemical compounds of metal, and these ores are found as deposits in earth. When we talk about copper, so we use copper for industrial containers, electric wires and also used in telecom industry. We use iron for making railway track, bogies, engines and armament. and we also use copper and zinc for making brass items. And we can't forget jewelries. Jewelries is made up of silver, gold and platinum. So, now we move to the second type of sources, that is biotic sources. Biotic sources include animals, plants and microorganisms and human beings. Biotic means living, and it includes, I already told, plant, animals, humans and microbes, microorganisms. Microorganisms include bacteria, protozoa and fungi. So, now we will talk about the relationship between primitive human society and environment. So, we know modern human evolved about 2 million years ago from ape-like ancestors, and two major trends in human evolution have been enlarged brain and bipedal gait. And these two evolutionary trends gave humans many advantages over other animals. So, large brain help to think, decide, communicate and hand become free to use for tool making and multifarious tasks. So, as we already told, scientific name of human is Homo sapiens sapiens. It means the wise hominid. Hominidae is a family to which human belongs. We are talking about the classification, and there are several stages in human evolution. First Australopithecus, then Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthal man, then human, modern human or Homo sapiens. So, next figure is related to the evolution of human. So, when we talk about human evolution, so this image is simplified representation of human evolution. Modern scientific understanding shows that human evolution was not a straight line from one species directly to the next. Instead, it resembles a branching evolutionary tree with many different human species living at different times and some coexisting. For example, we can take Neanderthal and modern human overlapped in time, and there is evidence that they interbred. So, the main idea of this figure is human evolution evolved gradual changes in body structure, brain size, intelligence and behavior over millions of years, leading to the emergence of modern human. However, evolution occurs through multiple branching lineages rather than a simple single file progression. So, these are some points when human evolved. They all walked erect and had larger brain than apes. Homo habilis and Homo erectus even made pebble tools and stone axes. They were gatherers and hunters and procured food from forest, flora and fauna and flesh of small animals. They discovered fire some 2 million years ago and realized that heat of the fire made food tender and tasty. So, next figure is how primitive human become hunter gatherers and nomads to early human settlement. There is a picture. This picture, the transition of early humans from a nomadic hunting life cycle to a settled agriculture society. This figure explains how the discovery of agriculture changed human life and led to the establishment of permanent settlement. The advent of agriculture was a turning point in a human evolution or human history. It transformed humans from nomadic hunter-gatherer into settled farmer, leading to permanent villages, organized community and the foundation of the modern civilization. So, primitive humans moved from previously one place to another place in search of food. They are known as foragers. They led a nomadic life. As nomads, they roamed large and distant areas. They had no permanent abode, so they lived near river beds, where plants and animals were abandoned. They also lived in caves. As they moved along, they left behind their stones and bone implements. So, now we are talking about tool making and the discovery of fire by primitive humans. So, making tools was a major activity for primitive humans, and tools for hunting tools from protecting them from wild animals, and they developed or made tools for cultivation too. So, older cultural Paleolithic age ushers to new Stone Age or Neolithic age. So, next figure shows the progression in tool making. First, we will talk about Paleolithic age tools. So, they are simple shaped stone tools, hand axes and sticks. The tools were made 1 million years old. Next is Mesolithic age tools. They used blunt tools. Rocks that were used for making tools were quartz, quartzites and the other volcanic peaks, and they made arrow heads, spears and other tools for hunting animals. Next is Neolithic age tools. They are more advanced tools. They used antler bones, wooden hammers and hammer stone to chip off uniform flakes from the rocks, and they make bows and arrows, harpoons, knives, fish hooks and needles. So, next discovery is fire. Discovery of fire has a profound influence on their lifestyle, and primitive humans used fire for various purposes, and this discovery of fire is, or we can say primitive humans, Homo erectus, discovered fire more than 2 million years ago. Now, we come to the next section of this program is agriculture and domestication of animals. When agriculture discovered, primitive humans started to begin their settled life. They left nomadic life and moved to settled life. Lives of primitive humans depended largely on the availability of food and water. They had small families which included children and grandchildren, and they roamed forest for food and lived in caves. So, man, the hunter, was dependent on his luck in chasing and hunting, as also on the abundance of animals. So, from this, hunter gatherers to move origin and evolution of agriculture. So, archaeologists have found shelters dating back to 10,000 years. Shelters protected them from wild animals, uncertainty of nomadic life. So, once humans settled down, they slowly began to farm, and a primitive agricultural society was formed. So, this is the story to primitive humans begin their agriculture. So, continuous cultivating along river banks and valleys of food became surplus, and domestication of animals began. Settled life also led to humans engaging in making wares of metals, clay, wood, leather. When that becomes surplus, then trading begins. Meanwhile, domestication of animals also started. So, these primitive humans needed to till the land for farming and to move from place to place, so that they started using bullocks to till the land, and many other animals like camels, elephant. Bullocks were used to transport humans and their wares from one place to another place. Animals using for carrying goods from one place to another place is known as draught animals, and early humans also reared animals for food like goat, sheep, pig, deer, poultry, bird, and kept them with him. And by the time when settled life begins, they started agriculture, and now industrialization also began with the discovery of wheel. And it was prior to the making of metal tools. By about 3000 BC, wheels made of logs were being used in primitive carts. So, solid wooden wheels were used for other purposes too, so like by the potters to mold earthen and terracotta pots around 1000 BC. Wooden wheels were heavy, and once metal were discovered, metal wheels with spokes replaced wooden wheels as they were much lighter and stronger. So, there are various types of wheels which shows in this figure. You can see wheel of a truck to cycle, airplane, carriage, cart, etc. So, the earliest indication of industrialization were the engineering in wood and stone that primitive men undertook. It was unspecialized and required hard labor. To mine flint from rocks, miners used deer antlers and shovels made from shoulder blade of cattle. They worked by the light using small lamps made from hollowed pieces of the chalk containing animal fat and wicks made of moss. Now, we move the next section, that is beginning of the industrialization. Beginning of the industrialization means a more secure food supply and improved diet made agricultural community move to new land for farming, and this also led to a substantial increase in population. People became miners. They mined flint to make flint axes. Thus, growth of agriculture was accompanied by growth of tool making that provided crude agricultural implements. Flint, this is a type of rock axes, were important for farmers for cleaning dense forest, land to graze their crops, and stone axes were used to fell trees. Thus, making wheels, constructing buildings, mining ore to make tools and ornament were a step towards industrialization. So, now we will talk about how they discovered metals. So, humans discovered that copper, bronze, iron made stronger tools. This discovery brought humans out of the Stone Age and marked the beginning of Industrial Revolution. The potter were using high temperature kilns or ovens to fire their wares. Accidentally, they discovered that lumps of the gold and copper also melted at high temperature and could be molded into shape. So, primitive humans started bronze age to copper age, iron age. They started from bronze and reached to iron age. From 7th and 6th century BC, humans began to use iron to make weapons and found it to be much superior than bronze. By 1200 BC, Western Asian countries like Turkey and Iran came out of the bronze age and entered into the iron age. Iron tools and weapons replaced those made from bronze. So, this is the growth of industrialization. Includes there are several factors that led to the growth of industrialization, that is technical development, economic development, invention of wheel, beginning of mining, agriculture, bronze age and iron age, and languages. So, we will talk about little bit about all these things. First, we will talk about technical development. Discovery of metals for making better tools and weapons initiated technology, then moved to the economic development. The establishment of agrarian societies engaged people in selling surplus produce or bartering it. This made the economically sound. In agrarian society, people got busy with occupations other than agriculture. Next step is industrialization, in the invention of wheels. Invention of wheel led to faster transportation and marked the beginning of the transportation industry. So, not so long ago, men travelled by bullock carts. Today, we are travelling by bus, car, train and airplane, and these are the common sight in today's scenario. Beginning of mining also plays an important role for the industrialization and settled human life. It was related to unearthing flint. Later, ores containing copper, iron and aluminum are mined. This led to the formation of mining industries and mining of minerals and metals. Metalless fossil fuels like coal and natural gas are common even today. From primitive humans to agricultural society, agriculture increases trade and cooperation, leading to complex societies, and also saw the beginning of metal tools, pottery and ornaments. So, agriculture increased trade and cooperation to leading society, and this is the beginning of the industrialized and civilized society. Later, we started from Bronze Age to reach Iron Age, and both are. And the discovery of fire much led earlier to the making of machine tool industries and machines for making synthetic cloth, for printing cloth, ushered in textile industries. And when we grow or develop in various fields like agriculture, industrialization, mining, so we need to talk or communicate. So, humans are the only animal endowed with a well developed capacity for speech. Spoken communication led to the development of language, and language helps in working in groups, which enhance the pace of economic development. So, when we civilized, we developed, we invent industries, we do mining. So, by now we have started to begin exploitation of natural resources. So, how is the environmental resources destroyed? Diminishes when environment has its own means of attaining a balance and replenishing and recycling its lost resources. Overpopulation, reason for beginning of exploitation. First is overpopulation, value erosion, loss of capacity for containment and greed of humans has depleted natural resources. Above all, there is lack of awareness too. So, it is the duty for all of us to spread awareness about conserving environment by saving water, electricity, saving petrol, not cutting trees, plantation is necessary, and we can't pollute our natural resources like air, water. And forests have been cut to make place for agricultural houses, field houses for human habitation, road, railways, lines and excessive use of wood, not only for burning but also for commercial activities. Loss of forest has endangered wildlife and some of them are already extinct. So, there is no excessive generation of waste which has polluted like hills, land hills, water bodies. Pollution has changed the climate, caused disastrous havoc, and this scenario is scary. Are we thinking of mending our ways too? before taking a break, we have talked about natural resources, the two different type of resources, that is abiotic and biotic. We have talked about evolution humans, discovery of fire, discovery of agriculture and domestication of animals, then move to the mining and beginning of the industrialization. And industrialization began with the technical development, economic development, and for all of this language is necessary. So, people primitive human communicate, so language are developed, and when growth of industrialization began, we have started exploit our natural resources too much. So, this is the beginning of the exploitation of natural resources. Reason is overpopulation, value erosion, loss of capacity of contentment and greed of humans, and there is a lack of awareness too. We have cut forest for agriculture fields, for human habitation. Loss of forest has endangered for wildlife, and some of them wildlife has already extinct. And there is we have made excessive generation of waste. This waste polluted our hills, land, water bodies too, and scenario is very scary, and are we thinking of mending our ways too? So, when we saw Neolithic period, humans giving up their nomadic life, they started exploitation the environment more intensively, started leading a settled life, and this was the age of agriculture. As population grew, people started migrating on to different part of the world. Human exploitation of the environment intensified. So, during the industrial revolution, exploitation of environment further intensified, and result is rapid expansion of industrialization has depletion as a major cause of the depletion of natural resources and environmental resources. So, now we will close this discussion with some bullet points what we have discussed till now. So, earth bears several natural resources, of which non-living or abiotic resources like land, water, air, fossil fuel and minerals, and living or biotic resources are plant, animals and microorganisms, and humans apart from food require two major types of resources, materials and energy for comfort and economic development. Ever since humans appeared on earth, they have been drawing their food, clothes and other substance from nature, and humans were evolved more than 2 million years ago when they diverged from ape with whom they started a common ancestor. The earliest bipedal humans were Australopithecus, who evolved in Africa. They were ape-like but had larger brain. Next stage is human evolution as Homo erectus with larger brain and erect posture. Their fossils have been found in Java and China. Homo sapiens or Neanderthalensis or Neanderthal man arose from Homo erectus. Soon they become extinct, but another line of humans, the Homo sapiens evolved, and they were considered to be the direct ancestor of the modern humans. Primitive humans lived in forest and used their hand to uproot edible plant roots and pluck fruits and collect seeds. Since their hands were not used for walking, they were used to make tools also. Primitive humans were hunter and gatherers and moved from one place to another place in search of food. They lead nomadic life or known as foragers. Along with human evolution, skills also improved progressively in tool making. Humans made simple tools with stone. The time period of their existence on earth is called Old Stone Age or Paleolithic Age. Starting from crude pebble tools, as time passed, they made better and sharper tools. In the Neolithic or New Stone Age, the tools were polished and ground. Later, humans discovered fire and used it for cooking, driving away predators and capturing large animals. From a nomadic life, human begin to settle and make shelters. Around 10,000 years or 12,000 years ago, humans learned to cultivate crop, agricultural practices improved, and humans grew enough food and their population increased. Surplus cultivated crops were transported to other places, were bartered, and wheels were discovered and transportation became easier. They moved from one place to another place to raise their crops and also begin to domesticated animal. While primitive humans were mining flint to make tools, they come across metal ores and mining and refining metals by heating began, and they made lots of things with bronze. Bronze is an alloy of copper and tin, and later with iron. Soon they started manufacturing activities and thus industrialization began, and rapid expansion of industrialization has resulted depletion in natural resources as well as pollution of the environment. The very survival of human is now threatened because of environmental degradation. So, this is all about environment and human society. We will come again to meet you in new program of environmental science. Till then, goodbye and thank you.